Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back once again with Renegade Master. I'm your Dreadlock caster, RedRipz. Yeah! And we're back. This makes a nice change, doesn't it? Because to be honest, it's been like 2 weeks now since I casted anything, and, well, that's basically way too long. No, it's not 2 weeks, so it's a week. I've been doing bugger all the past couple of weeks because I've been ill. It's been rubbish. And now I'm back. So we're here with another game. This is a Master League game on Yonsu LE. I'm just going to open my beer before I do the introductions. I'm going to get this out of the way. Today's beer is Coors Light. And, oh, my Guinness logo just dropped off my beer thing. Oh, well, I've had this for like 10 years. That's fine. So, yeah, today's beer is Coors Light, which isn't particularly nice, but it'll do. It's the best of a bad bunch of American beers. And I am back here on Yonsu LE. This is a Masters League game. Both players are Master League. It's a Zerg versus Terran. And in the bottom left-hand corner, today's brother from another mother. It's the red Zerg player. It's Astu. No, it's not. It's Astu. Astu. Yeah, we got there in the end. Astu. Astu. Right, so now we've got our brother here in the bottom left-hand corner of Yonsu LE. Up in the top right-hand corner, today's sister from another mister. In the blue, it's the Terran player, Bakemonoda. Bakemon. Gotta cook some cookies. Yeah, cool. So basically with that in mind, we have, as I say, Master League game, TVZ, all very nice. Yonsu LE, you know, the typical ladder map, all very familiar now at this stage. It's the second season it's been on ladder, I believe, or possibly... No, I think it's only the second season it's been on ladder. Are we just getting into its first season on ladder? Who cares? Basically. Okay, so... We've seen a 2-racks play here out of Bakemonoda straight away, and down in the bottom left-hand corner we're seeing astu go for the, I imagine this is going to be a more typical hatch first, since he's on, hang on, where's the hatch? Oh, the spawning pool's there. I'm just being a tool. Spawning pool's already down, has been down for quite a while it seems actually. I think that might have gone down on 14, is that right? Not sure. That was quite an early spawning pool. I'm slightly missed that. We're getting the hatchery down behind that. So I think that was probably 15, followed by late more drones, and then the 16 hatch. So it's quite a late hatch comparatively out of our Zerg player. Although that's not really... I'm not really sure there's too much to be taken from that. And the bunker going down here out of Bakemonoda straight away in this this natural expansion of Astu here. And this is going to be annoying as hell. So we're going to see a bunker rush out of Bakemonoda. He's going to go the 2 racks, getting out the Reapers, and they're going to be jumping in and out of that bunker once it's completed, assuming Astu doesn't assuming that Bakemonoda manages to get it finished. Now Astu's going to try and focus down this SCV with his 3 drones. This is a nice little bit of play here. And that drone's in SCV's in just the sort of place we can't quite be got. And is he going to fall? Yes, he is, just before the bunker finishes. And that with 2 seconds left on the build time there, we're left with these the bunker just unfinished, and the Reaper completely unable to enter that. We're going to have to see another SCV down here for Bakemonoda if he wants to finish this up. And to be honest, I think he might leave it at this point. I'd be surprised if we saw another SCV down. Meanwhile, more Reapers coming out for Bakemonoda. The initial one having been pushed back, he's going to be wandering back to regen his health, keep running away from the links. He can kite back all day until they get speed out. Meanwhile, these 2 drones are going to start focusing down this bunker to make sure that no SCV turns up and finishes that off. Got 2 Reapers here, 3rd one coming in behind. And with this 3 Reaper aggression now out of Bakemonoda, we're seeing the 2nd base finish up here for Astu. And I don't really think that Bakemonoda is going to be able to do too much with this particular pressure here, because like Astu's managed to get his his base down already. He's got his queens out, he's got some lings down, he's already getting spine crawlers out as well. So I don't think that's going to do too much as long as the queens sort of stay together and make sure that they're defending well and not just sort of being picked off. Because obviously you can kite queens and stuff all day with Reapers, but as long as you're on top of it, you're not actually going to lose anything. You just need to be careful, make sure you keep pulling the drones away. And I mean, ideally, you just want to pull away the one drone that's being targeted, but obviously that's not always possible, especially when you try and do another 30 things at once. Such is the case with StarCraft. And with that in mind, we're going to see Bakemonoda just chasing around these few drones on the lower expansion here. He's not actually going to manage to kill any off there. I think he may have got one on the high ground if we just look at the workers killed. Yeah, he's got 4 workers killed already there for Bakemonoda, compared to just the 1 SCV that was taken out by those drones at the start there. 4 astu. So he's going to be looking just generally to move on into the middle of the game. We're seeing a command centre down now out of Bakemonoda as well, so he looks like he's going to give up with this initial pressure. He's meanwhile put a factory down, getting out the double Hellions, and we'll be moving into the mid game for our Terran player here as he looks to take a 2nd base and expand into the more acceptable tech of a 2 or 3 base play, which obviously is known as standard play. I don't really like calling it standard. I mean, yeah, it's standard on ladder, but like calling it standard infers that that's the thing you're supposed to do, whereas in reality the thing you're supposed to do is win the game. So really, in whatever way, shape or form you can, Chiz is just as frankly as standard to me as anything else is. Should be expected and dealt with just as harshly. Now we're going to see another actually a spore crawler down here in the mineral line of Astu here at the bottom. He's obviously a little bit worried about perhaps drops. There's obviously no invisible troops to worry about particularly, unless we're going to see a Banshee play out. But as not really moved towards the starport, so we haven't actually seen any scouting out of Astu yet either. I don't think he's seen. No, he's seen nothing at all of the Terran's main base here, so you could do that a little look in there with the Overlord, just to check out what's going on and make sure that there's nothing crazy coming out here. Meanwhile, he's actually going to completely miss this rush coming down here now, with the 6 Reapers and 4 Hellions moving up behind it. This is going to be a little bit difficult here for Astu. All he's got is Lings and a single Spine Crawler down. This is going to really harass these mineral lines, and it's going to be actually a little bit of a problem, really. I mean, we've got 2 Queens down for Astu here, and you could start focusing stuff down already, but since he's actually managed to torch all his Lings initially, he's now can't really hold these units still, and actually the Queens aren't really going to be able to do too much there. So we're going to see quite a lot of pressure here out of Bakemonoda, and he's now going to just kill off all those drones in that lower line. He's now going to move up to the higher line and hopefully be able to pick off some more there. So we've only seen one of the 2 of the Hellions died there. Third one came up to join the group as well. And with this little aggression being pushed back now by those Lings, that was quite a nice response there out of Astu. He managed to get just enough Lings out to push that back and basically caught them out on the high ground. Obviously the Reapers can run away. Always do, and that will continue as is. We're going to see continued Reapers actually here out of Bakemonoda as well. He's not looking to really get any tech at this point, really, beyond the sort of the Reaper and Hellion play that he's going for. He's continually pumping out Hellions. He's getting another factory down now as well, and as he moves into his second base here, he's going to have to be careful here from a counter attack or something out of Astu, because Astu's still on 2 bases. I mean, he doesn't have a fully saturated second mineral line, but he is working on it. 6 more drones coming out for him now. He's also getting Baneling speed as well, so we're going to see quite a few more Banelings here out of Astu once that possibility is together there. We're also going to get the 1 attack upgrade here. This is perfect for Banelings, means that they're just going to 1-hit pretty much anything in the sort of the basic marine composition. But we're actually not really seeing marines out here, so that's going to be interesting counter. I mean, I think Banelings are just as effective against Reapers. I mean, anything small and light that has a small surface area, perfect for Banelings. They just absorb loads of damage and will just die straight up to a chunk of Banelings. And we've got a bunch of Lings at the top here for Astu. They're not doing too much at the moment. They could come up with some sort of counter attack, maybe if they can push through these rocks or something like that, or something other. Some other irritants really would be quite nice to see, but it's not really necessary at this point. He's not actually going to be able to get into the base anyway with the Hellions sat at the front here. And once again, Bakemonoda is going to be moving out. This time he's got 10 Reapers and 5 Hellions once again. We're going to see what pressure he can pull off now with the Lings of Astu being rather out of position. He's going to get some Banelings though, 12 of them forming there now, but with absolutely nothing in his main base. It's going to be a little bit of a predicament here unless he can get some troops together. I mean, there's a whole 8 Zerglings here, which is going to be instantly fried up by these Hellions, and with the Reapers in there behind that, just jumping around killing off the Queens initially. We're going to see the drones start dying here, and he managed to pull most of his drones out of the way, so we're going to be seeing basically the Lings running around waiting for the Banelings to turn up, which as they have now, they should be in a good position to come and get some big connections on these Reapers here. So we're going to see if this happens now. Reaper, oh, and the big Baneling connections there. Took them a second. They moved around a little bit at first, but they did get the connection, and all that stuff just straight up exploded. So with that, we've only got 4 Reapers left, 2 more on the way, 5 more Hellions down as well, and with 5 of each unit now, Bakemonoda is going to continue this pressure, and it's quite nice seeing some more Hellion pressure out of Terran players again. Something that used to happen a lot before the Queen buff. If you remember ages and ages and ages ago, was it 18 months, maybe 2.5 years ago, if might have been even longer, I'm not sure. Basically the Queens used to have really short range, then they buffed the crap out of them, and Hellion harass pretty much died out. I mean, it's not that you don't ever see it, it's just that it stopped being quite so prolific. Whereas now, obviously, we're seeing the return of Hellion harass here out of Bakemonoda. I mean, as I say, it's not that it doesn't happen, it's just that it's not quite prolific, and I really like this Hellion Reaper harass, actually. The Reapers are quite a cool unit to be using, because obviously they regen health, so they're really efficient in that sense, as long as you can keep them alive, and that just should allow you to generally just extend your any lead that you've already gained, although Bakemonoda is looking to move into a second base here. He's continuing to get, well, actually stop building SCVs for the moment, but we'll be getting SCVs in that second here. We see more engagements coming out of our Zerg Terran here on the lower ground of the natural there, moving down at the third base here, or well, the third base should be here for Astu, hasn't yet got it down yet, and with some big Baneling connections on those Hellions there, that does look like pretty much the last of this stuff here. I mean, we do still have 3 Hellions, 3 Reapers out, but with some Lings coming down now as well, this should be the end of this pressure, and I think this is going to be the last of that there. Yeah, absolutely, everything getting cleared up. We do have a few more coming down though out of Bakemonoda. It does look like he's looking to continue this, and to be honest, I don't think he's actually looking to move too far into the game, really. I mean, yeah, he's getting a third base down, he's building a 4th commander somewhere as well, but the amount of pressure he's putting on here, he's just not concentrating on getting enough SCVs out to go into the late game here. Really, he's just microing his units around, trying to do as much damage as he can to Astu, but really all he's doing is killing off Lings at this stage, and that's not really enough. You need to be doing slightly more than that, although considering Astu isn't actually getting out drones either. Both players are in a comparatively safe position of just sitting on 2 bases with their third bases building now. We've seen the third out of astu as well, with Bakemonoda's being nearly finished there and his built down on the third base as well. Quite a risky play. I'd quite like to see, not well, I'd say risky, but it's more vulnerable to run bys if you build it on the lower ground. Meanwhile, we're seeing a whole bunch more Hellions come back in now. It looks like we might be finally seeing the end of the Reapers here, as now we're seeing what we've got here. We've got 2 factories down, 2 barracks down, we've got an engineering base. So, yeah, I think we're going to see, not seeing any upgrades out the armory yet. We're just having a little look around, see what Bakemonoda's got, and really it's just quite simplistic really at the moment. He's just building Hellions, just building the barracks down to get his building the engineering bay to get his upgrades for his bio, and I think he'll generally be moving into bio here. I don't think we're going to see too continued a mech aggression here, although I might be wrong. It could start producing tanks and do a more sort of flash style marine tank competition or something like that, or well, more like Marine King perhaps would be a better comparison, although actually with Marine King now leaving and becoming a StarCraft player, that's a League of Legends player, that's an interesting move for him. But much more important, what's going on in the game right now. That was a huge connection for those Banelings there, killing off virtually all those Hellions in the second base of Astu, and I think really with the way Astu's dealing with this, yeah, he's not really ahead on supply, but I think he's probably in a slightly better position. I mean, he's had that second base down for longer. We've got a scout command centre out of Bakemonoda here. I'm not really sure what he's doing there. That might have been a misclick there or something out of our Terran player here. But with that in mind, we're going to see what we're going to get out now. We're getting 3 more factories down. And yeah, it's actually going to be a big mech play here out of our Terran players. We're getting double reactor down on the barracks as well, and with another factory at the back and a second armory down. Yeah, it's going to be mech out of our Terran player today. And this is cool. This is really cool to see. Not quite so many Terrans tend to play mech anymore, because usually like the Zerg just builds ult muters and it kind of ends then really, because like the tanks can't do anything, the Hellions can't do anything, and really they're just waiting to get Thors out. So unless you can get sort of that really hard meching composition up and running early, or get lots of like get lots of early kind of like Vikings out or something like that to make sure you're dealing with those air units, it is quite difficult to mech against Zerg players, and that's why generally Bio is so popular, just because it deals really well with what Zergs do. But at the same time, we are going to be seeing this out. We've got the few Lings here doing a little run by in the main base of our Terran player, although they're not actually going to do too much damage. A few SCVs dying here and there. Just check the workers' kill counts now. Both players actually relatively even. Although Bakemonoda has killed a lot more units, I wouldn't really say that he's ahead still. He's actually behind on supply. Both players camping on just around 50 supply really, and looking to get their third bases. We've finally seen the Burrowed Banelings on the ramp here. I liked that move, although it was a shame that Bakemonoda actually saw it coming. Astu wasn't able to get those connections off, and all the Banelings were killed. But it was a good move nonetheless, and it looks like we are going to be seeing some SCVs here in this third base at last, with the fourth one down as well. 2 Banelings wandering into that. They're going to kill off this, well, they may kill off this SCV. Nope, they're just going to burrow. And I do wonder if Bakemonoda actually saw that then. If he didn't see that, that could be lethal later on in the game. We'll have to keep a close eye on those to try and see those connections when they happen. And meanwhile, we're getting quite a big Hellion move out here at the front. That's 10 more Hellions. They're going to come and torch through a lot of these things, but if we can get some Baneling connections on here for Astu, I think he should be able to play this up. It just very much depends on those Baneling connections, and if we can get some sort of surround out the Lings to slow the Hellions down enough to allow the Banelings to get into connection. And there we are, the Banelings coming in, everything getting crushed, and that's the last of that Hellion pressure there, and that was quite nice there out of Astu. Basically, with that sort of thing, you use the Lings to catch the Terran units, and then your Banelings roll in the front, and well, as you can see, everything dies. Now we're going to see the Hellbats coming in here out of Bakemonoda, and obviously this is a great unit to be building, especially if you can get out the Medivacs to be healing them on top. They just last so long against anything the Zerg can do on the ground, and it's actually a real pain for Zerg players to deal with. Meanwhile, we're going to see a bit of a Maynard down to the third here. The main base being completely mined out now for our Zerg player. Well, not quite, but close enough. The Spire also being up there as well. He's just generally going to be doing Baneling Muter, I think, seems to be the composition of choice. And with this huge Maynard of drones down here to the third base here, it looks like we're going to be seeing some just a continued sort of 2-base play here out of Astu here. Meanwhile, Bakemonoda doing his thing at the top. He's got his second base is fully mining. His third base is getting there. His third, meanwhile, has been slightly pressured by some Lings there, although his fourth, he's actually been slightly pressured. It's going to be pulled out there. Meanwhile, his main base will be gradually mining out. I guess he's decided he doesn't need quite as much gas as he's got. He's only got single SCVs in each of these gases now. And he's going to just generally producing Thors, it looks like, is the general gist. Meanwhile, he's got his one defense upgrade upgrade coming out. He's already finished the 1 attack upgrade, and we'll be generally moving on there. So with the first few mutants coming out now of astu, you're going to be gathering these over our Terran player's third base. Now, Terran player's going to struggle to deal with these because he doesn't really have any anti-air units at the moment. There aren't really anything in the way of, like, I mean, the mine. There's not really any mines anyway. He doesn't have any missile turrets up. He's got no Vikings. He doesn't have any starports. He's got no Marines out, anything like that. And at this stage, he's just waiting for these Thors to arrive. And we are going to see some mines out now, quite a lot of mines finishing out there now. So this should be able to start dealing with the Mutalisks. But really, unless he can actually catch them out, you're not going to do that much with the mines. They're much more defensive, and just running them in and sticking them underneath, they're just going to get shot. So there's really not that kind of much that we can hope to do there, as long as the Zerg player is sensible enough and does micro back his mutants correctly. And with that third base falling there now, Bakemonoda is actually in a little bit of a tricky situation here now. He does now have the Thors out, though. This should be able to start dealing with the mutants, but with there being quite so many mutants on the field, I mean, if we just have a little look at the unit tab there, we've got 13 out already, and the count is rising. It's not looking that good for Bakemonoda, as astu's really sort of moving into his mid-game Ling Baneling Muta tech here. He's got all his 3 bases up and fully saturated. He could do with the 2 gas mining here as well. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have that 3rd mineral mining base, but he will be working on that, I'd imagine, in the near future, and he's going to get a roach warren out instead. So I guess we're going to see roaches here. These are going to be probably just generally to deal with this mech composition, because obviously with the Hellbats being quite so resilient and also just that good against the ground compositions of Zerg, Roach is a pretty good unit to be using, because they just absorb so much more damage, and they also allow you to deal with the Thors a bit better than Zerglings do, as Zerglings just tend to get absolutely fried by the mass Hellbat operation. Now we're going to be seeing the Mutalisks coming in on the main base here of Bakemonoda here. They're going to be taking out the missile turrets pretty much straight away. I'm just going to adjust my head first, sorry. And with them falling pretty quickly, we're going to see a lot of the SCVs dying, but he's actually going to be focusing down the orbital command there, constantly taking out these bases, and we're actually just going to, in response, see a huge move out of Bakemonoda here. I think he's just going to fill his other, well, put Widow Mines around his other SCVs, and hopefully they'll be able to protect against the Mutalisk threat, which is actually now retreating, as he's going to have to come and engage this ground army here. And we're going to be interesting one to see this. We're going to see some big Baneling, some huge Baneling connections there straight away. Half the Hellbats falling instantly, and with these 2 Thors being left now, it really isn't that good. But with so many Mutas being there and dying quite so quickly again, oh dear, that's not very good on the Widow Mines. 2 Widow Mines falling, being left there. So few left after the problem there, where basically the Banelings roll over and get blown up, but then kill the Widow Mines because of the splash damage. Not very good, and really that wasn't the best move out of Bakemonoda to move out then. And I see what he was trying to go for, trying to get there while the Mutas were out of position, and yeah, he did kill off a load of Mutas, but he had his stuff evaporated so quickly by Banelings that there really wasn't that much he could do there. He just sort of wasn't trying to control them enough. He didn't sort of spread them out, and basically just walked all his Hellbats in to die, which was a big shame. And yeah, we've got a lot less Mutas than we used to have here now, and with still mass Widowmine coming out here, there's going to be quite a few less Mutas pretty soon, I think. The Overseer dying as well there, and but the thing is, with these being the basically the last bases here of Bakemonoda that are fully mining. I mean, yeah, we've got the main base here that's on relatively low, but with this base here that's only on 12 SCVs, there's just not that much in the way of an economy left for Bakemonoda now, and he's going to really struggle to continue producing the sort of units that he needs to continue this meching if he can't either do some serious damage to astu or somehow manage to get some sort of an economy going. I think basically the best thing he could do really is just put Widow Mines absolutely everywhere, plenty of turrets, because he is churning, well, he was churning out the Widow Mines, so he's switched back into Hellbats now, and is actually just going to go straight into the Hellions again now, as he's really sort of feeling the pressure here. And we're just generally seeing these Hellbats chasing away these Mutas. I'm not quite sure how that one works, as Mutas can't be shot by Hellbats. I guess they're in the same control group as this single Thor, which is just as easily take-outable by these Mutalisks, as long as the Widow Mines aren't getting the hits off that they need. So yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult situation here for Bakemonoda here, really, and unless he can do some damage with this assault, I think he's going to struggle to continue the game. Astu isn't, however, being the most aggressive with his economy for a Zerg player. Like, normally Zerg players are really aggressive with their economy, take some big risks, go for that early third, get a really early fourth out after that. But Astu's pretty happy just sitting mining on 2 bases here, getting these sort of engagement with the Banelings, all the sort of like the AoE of the Thor going down on the Mutalisks there, but not really doing enough damage. And since he's just got this much stuff down, this many Mutalisks out, really, he's just going to go straight through these Hellbats, which just aren't doing anything at the moment. They're all just falling to Banelings, really, which is a big, big shame. Because like, as weak as Lings are to Hellbats, Banelings really aren't. As long as they can get into combat and get the connections on, they're absolutely sweet against Hellbats because of just the amount of instant damage they do, which means you can't take advantage of the healing of the Medivacs, although actually Bakemonoda hasn't built any Medivacs this round, so he won't be healing anything anytime soon. Meanwhile, astu, all similar supply still, building 5 more Mutalisks, and actually, to be honest, I think if he'd built a third base and just got a few more drones out, he'd probably be in a much better position than he is. Especially, but with, I guess, with all these pressures coming out of Bakemonoda, he has been forced to build quite a lot more units than he might have liked at an earlier stage of the game, and as a result has really hurt his economy and has been forced to continue sort of defend. He hasn't really been too aggressive with his pressure. I mean, yeah, he keeps sending in Lings and stuff. We've seen another pressure on the third there, a bit more coming in here at this base that also got killed. But considering that Bakemonoda only has, let's have a look, he's got, what, 11 SCVs now? That's it compared to the 37 of astu here. Despite astu's bad economy position, Bakemonoda's in a similarly, like, he's in an even worse position. So it really is astu's game for the taking at this point, as long as he can stay on top and just not lose too many units, really, to the tech that the Terran player has out here. But with just single Thors being here to deal with these Mutalisks, it's just not enough. We're seeing them fall time and time again. And even though he is doing his best to build more Widow Mines, more anti-air type, like, AoE damage such as the Thors and Widow Mines, he's just not really getting enough out, and I'd quite like to see a starport with some Viking support or something. Really would probably put him in a much stronger position against this many mutas, although I do appreciate that he needs the money for his mech army. His mech armies aren't cheap, but with the number of Hellbats that he's losing to these Banelings, it's really difficult to argue that he should be continuing like this, because he just keeps losing them. And here once again we're just going to see more and more Mutalisks coming over, just taking out the Hellbats, picking them off as they can, being wary of Widow Mines. Obviously he's got the Overseer there following them around as well, and just generally, as long as you stick back from the Thor and just try and pick off the ground army from the Hellbats, you can then just get the Thor at the end quite comfortably and not really have too many troubles with it. And we're going to see the Banelings just roll straight through here. These are going to come straight after these Hellbats out here on the front line, I think, and all those are going to fall once again. Although we did see the 2 Spine Crawlers fall there. There is a little bit of health left on those 2 Hellbats there at the bottom, but they're going to fall pretty quickly. The Queen's just going to die there, only just going down to the Hellbat, which has 2 attacks worth of Muta sack left on it. And with that in mind, Bakemonoda's down to 22 supply, 90 supply. Meanwhile, for astu, I can't see how Bakemonoda's going to go much further than this. It's been a really interesting game, to be honest, in many respects, because I don't think we've actually seen either player get over 100 supply for the course of the whole game. Which is bizarre, like, especially with a Zerg player. Like, Zergs are very good at just rocketing up the supply and getting huge armies out very quickly. I mean, yeah, it'd be a weak army of just loads of roaches or something, but like, they often get the supplies up really, really quickly, and it's quite interesting that our Zerg players so intently sat on 3 bases here. He hasn't even tried to take a 3rd base, tried to take a 4th base, sorry. He's just sat here with these 12 on this one base. He's got, what, 15 on the other base mining now, with not all the gases fully saturated. His main base, meanwhile, is, you know, mined out and has been for most of the game now. It's yeah, it's quite an interesting play out, the Zerg player, really. But with Bakemonoda not being able to really take any 3rds of his own, after that one at the bottom here was taken out, and obviously the one on the low ground here also going as well, and these continual pressures on the 2nd base as well, he's just not really been able to get out the troops that he needed to deal with this Lingbane Muta, which has just, frankly, just ran all over him. And it's a bit of a shame, really, but with... Oh, he's just unbrewed the Widow Mines there. That was... oh, actually, no, sorry, they were on cooldown, of course. Dumbass. Yeah, so they weren't the problem there, I thought. And with Bakemonoda throwing out the GG now, that's going to be the end of the game. And, yeah, astu taking it. So, that was another Masters, the game here for StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. So, yeah, little bit of an interesting one, really. Neither player really pushed quite as far into the economy as you normally see out of these sort of games, but it was just back and forth constantly, and you know, plenty of valiant defenses out of astu, loads and loads of early pressure out of Bakemonoda, but he just wasn't quite able to take advantage of it in the ways that he needed to, and astu was able to clear up and take the game for the long run. So yeah, well, that's been another episode of CasualCraft. I think that's 55, I want to say now, something like that. I'm going to go back to swigging cores. Hopefully we'll have another episode out tomorrow for you all, and I just want to say thanks once again to both players. So GG, well played, and I'll catch you all for another one tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.